Well, I think, holistic healing, it involves all of that, right? And the diet is the foundation. Like you can't do the nervous system regulation and the emotional work unless someone's diet is correct, because basically they're not centered and they're not grounded. So obviously diet and supplementation is important. But one of the things that became very clear to me when I left Western medicine and started studying like what makes us well and what are the pieces that I was never taught about was this whole piece around emotional trauma and illness. And, the first study that really stood out to me was the ACE study, the Adverse Childhood Event Study, of showing that children who have higher incidence of trauma, so any adverse childhood event, which could be divorce, neglect, abuse, sexual, physical, parent incarcerated, drug abuse, all of that stuff. Basically, the higher the number of ACEs that they experience, the higher the incidence of cancer, which I was never taught anything about. Obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, lung disease. And that to me just like blew my mind. Like, how do I not know this? And I knew it though inside because my practice, I was the only female for a very long time in my radiation oncology practice. And so I got all of the women with trauma history. So I had a whole panel. I mean, I had lots and lots of people in my practice with history of trauma just because they wanted a female to examine them. And then also I just was more sensitive to that. And so when I came out into this space, that was one area that I realized like not many people were talking about that, at least doctors, like especially within the standard of care for sure, not talking about that at all. And, just helping people understand how are those things connected, and then that you don't have to be afraid of if you've had trauma, but there's so many beautiful tools that you can use and subconscious work. And I just found it to be so beneficial to do that emotional work with people as they're healing as part of that process. But, really I'm focused on the whole picture, right? Because healing is wholeness, bringing wholeness. And that's, mind, body, spirit, and emotions.